Isimanga seDombas esigcwele ilizwe lonke. The 4-month-old boy child of the white employer whom you carried on your back in 1956 became the 20-year-old child, the 20-year-old soldier indeed who shot your child in Soweto in 1976. Your neighbor's 5-year-old boy child whom you raised became the 25-year-old rampant lumpen who terrorized and raped Granny in the neighborhoods last week. The press that failed to recognize you, the press that failed indeed to recognize your acumen for organizing skill and for mobilizing in 1956, continues not to see your excellence today. Where the Afrikaans press attributed the success of the 9th August anti-pass march in 1956 to the white woman in your ranks, today's media finds it necessary to contrive a story of a man behind you when you excel in your field of endeavor. You have been leading all these years. Every generation has given us a Dora Tamara, a Helen Joseph, a Berta Mashaba, a modern-day Kate Mpagato, our present-day Charlotte Matlege, indeed a Lillian Goy of today. You have always been ahead. You led us in 1893. You were ahead in 1913. You were still leading in 1953. You occupied your rightful position in the front line in 1956. You have always been in the battlefront against permits which reduced us to being occupants in our own lands, which restricted the movement of Africans against special permits, which aimed at managing the movement of Africans with passes which sought to restrict especially women's movement through Section 10. You stood up for your husbands who were controlled through influx control of access, through arbitrary boundaries created by foreigners in the land of our birth. You spoke eloquently against the 1893 internal passport system designed to segregate the people, a system in the so-called Orange Free State which required black women and men to carry passes to validate their whereabouts. Simanga seDombas eyagcwala ilizwe lonke. Asiwafuni lamabhasi sekungcono basivalele emajele is what you said on a cold and rainy fateful Saturday of 29 March 1913 as you pledged to refuse to carry passes any longer, choosing instead to endure imprisonment. In 1955, you spoke boldly against apartheid white government zealots when they arbitrarily declared that women living in urban townships would be required to buy new entry permits every month. You were unequivocal when you stated the following, open quotes, "We shall not rest until all the past laws and all forms of permits restricting our freedoms have been abolished, and shall not rest until we have won for our children." Close quotes. Wathint imbokodo, Simanga seDombas. You kept to your word. You did not rest. Led by Mama Lillian Goy, you crisscrossed the country under the repressive conditions of the white terrorist government. You went around holding aloft the banner of the Federation of South African Women, FEDSO, and indeed the African National Congress Women's League, you convened rallies mobilizing for what was to become the mother of all marches, indeed the greatest showdown with Strado. In one of the rallies, Umama Lilian Ngoyi marshaled you to the front line, and she said the following: only direct mass action will deter the government and stop it from proceeding with its cruel laws, close quotes. You delivered on that action today on the 9th of August, 64 years ago. The rest, as they say, is history. Wathint imbokodo, Wathint abafazi. Today you face a modern-day Donbass which seeks to restrict your movement. Qeshwe njani? Busiyaphi? Buncokola nabani? Modern-day passport. In the same way that we faced colonialism of a special type, with the oppressor and oppressed coexisting and occupying the same space, women among yourselves daily face the oppressor, the modern day guard who enforces the modern day pass. He is everywhere. He's in the places of worship, in the spaces of employment, in institutions of learning, behind the high walls in leafy suburbs, in squalor conditions, in the dungeons. He is everywhere. Isimanga seDonbass esagcwalisa ilizwe lonke, Wathint imbokodo, Wathint abafazi. Dora Tamara is calling. Mama Lilian Ngoyi, our elder, is commanding. She is commanding all of you. She is commanding all of us. Charlotte Maxeke is calling. She is calling, saying, asiwafuni lamabhasi, sizimisele inkululeko. All women to the front line. Aluta continua. Aluta contra ike. Aluta continua against abuse. Aluta contra inequality. Aluta contra sexism. Aluta contra prejudice. Aluta contra corruption. Maya Angelou wants you to carry on. She wants you not to lose hope. Maya Angelou wants you to be resilient. She wants you to continue to resist. Still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tread on me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Does my sadness worry you? Why are you upset? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room, just like moons and like suns, with a continuity of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, boiled, lowered, rolled head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, wakened by my soulful cries? You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the hints of history's shame I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling. I bear the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Happy Women's Day to all of you. I remain Thank you.